Hello everybody! In this class I will try to give some short advices in order to record the voiceover for a short documentary. This is addressed to those of you who have never ever done something similar. First, I will expose some ideas regarding the text to be heard at the documentary. Then, I will explain how to prepare yourself and how to practice. Finally, I will give some advice on the recording of the voiceover. As I have just mentioned, our first step will be preparing the text. Above all, the most important thing that you should keep in mind is do not reuse material as is. That is, you cannot use for the voiceover text from written sources if you do not previously adapt them. Keep in mind that those kind of texts are meant to be read and not to be heard. Written expression and oral expression are not the same field. They are similar in many ways, but with deep differences among them. There are some rules that you will have to follow when preparing the text for your voiceover. First of them, avoid long and complex sentences. Be aware that when you are hearing a piece of video, you are not expected to stop the voice and then replay it. If you are reading a piece of news or an essay, it's quite common to reread sentences or paragraphs that you find difficult to understand. This is unacceptable on oral expression. You should try to be as simple and understandable as you can. In order to do so, avoid jargon and long sentences. Write short, simple sentences instead of long and complex ones. Separate them with points and pauses. Regarding jargon, try to use always common words available for a non-expert public. For instance, do not use blitzkrieg if you can use battle or sudden and fast attack. By the same token, if you need to give numbers, avoid exact data and round the numbers up. For example, do not say 36,900 men died in the Battle of the Ardennes, but instead of this, more than 36,000 men died or nearly 4,000 men died. In this very sense, comparisons are quite useful in order to make numeric data understandable. If you are talking about the Mongol Empire, you could say that at its peak it reached an area of 24 million square kilometers. But it would be better if you said that it reached more than 3 times the area of actual Australia and almost 1.5 times current Russia. The final text for the text will be reading it to someone who is not familiar with the topic. If he is able to understand the text when he hears it, congratulations, you have now a suitable text for your voiceover. Once you have your text ready, written and edited, it's time to get yourself familiar with it. Read it aloud as many times as you can and you need. Find the places where you need to breathe and take air. Find the words that are hard for you to pronounce and change them. And finally, find the words you want to stress and remark. Keep in mind that you should stress some words in the text in order to give it some sense of pace and rhythm, avoiding thus monotony. Let's have an example. Let's take a look at the example. We have this text from the Wikipedia talking about Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, who was a British statesman who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1950 and again from 1951 to 1955. Churchill was also an officer in the British Army, and an academic historian, a writer as Winston S. Churchill, and an artist. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953 for his overall lifetime body of work. In 1963, he was the first of only 8 people to be made an honorary citizen of the United States. Hard and complex to read, hard and complex to hear. We could improve the text if we first make more simple sentences. We can avoid intermissions, we can avoid long sentences and going straight to the point. Once we have tried to make this text more simple, we should locate the points where we can, or where we can breathe, where we can stop, in order to not to lose our voice and lose our breath. Finally, we should locate, we should underline or remark the words we consider the most important in the text. A different reading would be: Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. Churchill was also an officer in the British Army, a non-academic historian, a writer, and an artist. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953 for his overall work. In 1963, he was made an honorary citizen of the United States. Only other 7 people have been given this title ever. At last, our final step would be recording the text. Please, do not be afraid to emphasize words and meanings. When you are hearing yourself reading the text along, you may sound maybe too exaggerated or too vivid. Don't be afraid, because the moment you are placed in front of the microphone, you will get yourself down, you will hold yourself back. So when practicing and when you are starting to read the text, to interpret the text, don't be afraid, don't be shy. So if, in addition to this, if you work in team, if you have a group of members working in the project together, it would be better to choose the one with the most mature, low and male voices. I have nothing against young, high-pitched or female voices, but this kind of voices, mature, low, male voices, are considered to be more credible. They are considered to have more credibility. Last, once you have your text recorded, listen to it and feel free to repeat. Do not save the first take. Save as many takes as you can, until you have one which suits whatever you find acceptable. You have plenty of time. Take profit of it. I hope these pieces of advice I hope that these pieces of advice will be useful for you in the future. Thanks a lot for your attention.